All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Well, it's actually more of a video from last night's 49er Cowboy game. This one's more on Trevon Diggs. And, of course, this video is brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. It's also sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. Download the app below. Make sure you use the promo code Niners, and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $200. All right, the Niners got a big win over the Cowboys. They roll into the bye week 4-4. But it wouldn't be the NFL if there wasn't a little controversy. And there was controversy. There was a Cowboy media person who questioned Trevon Diggs, and Diggs is immature. And this is how he responded.
Took from that? Out of that whole play, that's what you took from that? You don't know football. You can't do nothing that I do. You can't go out there and do nothing. Stay in your lane, buddy. Stop playing me, bro.
Just asking a question, Trayvon. I mean, I'm happy to have you answer the question.
Out of that whole play, that's what you took for that? That's what you got from that whole play, that's what you got from that?
I'm asking you. We can talk about it more. What were you doing then?
All right, there you go. Trevon Diggs, having an issue with a Cowboy beat writer or reporter. One, I don't know the reporter. For all I know, that reporter is the most obnoxious reporter of all time. None of these things are one thing. I'll tell you this: from somebody who covers the team on a regular basis, if you have a bad exchange with a player, it's probably not like an isolated instance. It's probably because the player doesn't respect you, and the player could be justified in not respecting the media person, or the player could be totally unjustified in disrespecting the media person. So it's really impossible to know who's in the right and who's in the wrong. But, so now what? Well, the only people that could question NFL players are NFL players who also could do their job. That's just stupid. The only people that could question presidents of the United States would be former presidents of the United States. So there can't be any White House correspondents. There can't be any media people because they were never the president, so they could never question the president. So there never could be a media person that could ever question a football player. Only people who get to question football players are former football players. I don't know. That seems a little ridiculous to me. There's all kinds of people who analyze things. The counter by the media guy should have been like, hey, buddy, maybe I can't do what you can do, but you can't do what I can do. So take it for what it is. It's not like Trevon Diggs could get on TV and talk eloquently about the Cowboys. He probably couldn't. Not that Trevon Diggs is going to go write a column in the Dallas Morning News. He probably couldn't. It's not like Trevon Diggs can go on Dallas Sports Radio and have a successful sports radio show. He probably couldn't. But it doesn't stop him from telling this reporter, hey, you can't do what I can do, so you can't question me. It's sour grapes. It's frustration. But it probably also is, I don't want to rip that reporter because I don't know who he is. But that reporter probably didn't do enough to cultivate a relationship with the player. I'm critical. Guys hear me all the time. I'm critical. I'm critical of the team. And yet I go into the locker room and do interviews with the players. And I've never had a player, pull me aside and be like, you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what I do. You can't comment on that. Why? Because I kind of know my place. I kind of know what goes beyond and what is acceptable criticism. And I don't try to be like this, I know everything about football guy, The players know more than the media, all right? The players spend 100 hours, they don't spend coaching hours. They don't spend 100 hours working on it, but they spend lots and lots and lots of hours. And the media oftentimes is just watching the game one time, and a lot of times the questions are idiotic. I don't know about the particular media person here, so I can't really speak to it. All I would say is that, Diggs is probably right. That reporter probably can't do what Diggs can do. But I bet you the reporter, probably could have come back with, well, hey, bro, you can't do what I can do either, because probably Diggs can't do what he can do. none of it really matters. At the end of the day, I kind of blame the reporter more than I blame the player because it's the reporter's job to cultivate a relationship with the player. The player's just playing his game. He's going to talk to the media generally. But I think I always look at it, I don't put it on the players. I don't put it on the PR staff. I don't put it on the radio station. I put it on myself, okay? If I'm going to have a good relationship with the players, it's not because Corey Rush got me to have a good relationship with the players. It's not because, some 49er PR person, got the player to be my friend. If I'm going to have a good rapport with the player, it's because I cultivated that relationship with the player. I cultivated that trust with the player. I developed that relationship. I built that thing. So, I don't know. Generally, I don't like to go against people who are in my own category, the media, but there's lots of media people that go off half-cocked and have no idea what they're talking about, ask the dumbest questions of all time, ask idiotic questions. They try to lead the players to say what they want them to say. So I've seen all of it. I've seen all the tactics. I don't know that guy, so I don't really want to speak specifically about what his motive, what his game plan was, or what he was trying to get accomplished there. I would just say, generally I side with the players. Generally, the players that I've come in contact with are pretty down to earth and pretty realistic about, themselves and the failure rate and the game and all the different things that go along with playing the game, including the second guessing that comes from fans and media. To me, if you're going to have that kind of a response from a player, generally that means that the media person didn't do a very good job at cultivating a trust or a relationship, or maybe doesn't have a good reputation with the players. So that's my takeaway on that. All right, we have one more here as well. Let's watch this other video and we'll comment on it.
What happened in the first half that kind of shifted in the second half, that kind of third quarter to separate the game? What was the differences out there?
I think we went into the game with the right mindset as far as the wanting to win and everybody doing their part, doing their job. I feel like we had a good first half. Our calls was good. We was stopping the run. We was flying to the ball. We was just doing everything that we can, making sure they wasn't punching it in. Mm-hmm. And then halftime came, and I feel like they made some adjustments. That we didn't adjust to, and they started calling stuff that, was beating our coverages, and, we just didn't make the proper adjustments. And, I feel like the second half, they jumped out on us fast.
Yeah, that Shanahan offense, what just makes it so challenging? Obviously missing McCaffrey, Ayuk, Debo was able to play a little bit, and, obviously the running back situation, both teams facing injuries, but what makes the offense able to adjust and make it so unique?
I feel like it was their coach. They had great coaching. Just adjusting to the things that we were running. It felt like, everything that they called was just a counter to what we were in, and it was just we was SOL. So, they got good players. Debo had a great game. Kittle, Hall of Fame wide receiver. Purdy's over here doing his thing as well. So, they got pieces. They got the right pieces. So they was executing.
Yeah, I thought the game. I definitely thought, for people out there who say, we couldn't have made a difference, I definitely think if we had all our stars out there for a 6-point game in the Bay, that we can make a huge difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like we had our guys, and they had their guys. Their guys healthy too as well. I feel like it would have been a great game still.
All right. That's the Micah Parsons podcast, by the way, and you heard Diggs on the podcast. Talk about a delusional pair of guys. You had your full bore staff. You had your full staff of guys, your full complement of players a year ago. You got beat 42-10. Stop it. Just stop it. 49ers own the Cowboys. They're way better than the Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys like a drum. And, take some accountability. To me, that sounded like Diggs was shifting the blame. It's like, Yeah, we came out with the right mindset, but then their coach made adjustments to our what we were doing on defense, and we didn't adjust back. Why not just throw Mike Zimmer completely under the bus? Why not just say, hey, it wasn't my fault, it was the coach's fault? Players play, coaches coach, but there's a player not taking accountability, pointing at the Niners, crediting his opponent, but also not really taking full accountability. They made some adjustments to what we did, and we didn't adjust back. Well, it's like you're pointing the finger at your coaches. Don't point your finger at the coaches. And don't say if we had a full complement of guys, we would have won. You've lost 4 in a row to this team. Parsons was there the other times, and he didn't win. So don't tell me about that. I mean, the 49ers are better than the Cowboys. Nobody wants to hear about this and that and weak excuses. If we had our full complement of guys, if you had your full complement of guys, what? You would have lost 42-10 like you did last year? I mean, that's just loser talk right there. You can't talk like that. Oh, if we had our full complement of guys. Come on. I mean, the 49ers, for the most part in this game, had no CMC, no JJ, no Brandon Ayuk. That's 3 of their top 5 or 6 offensive weapons. You know, I mean, what are we talking about? No Afonga, no Greenlaw. That's their best coverage player on the second and third level. I don't want to hear about who you didn't have. What you don't have is you didn't have a win, that's what you didn't have. And you're going to blame Zimmer? I mean, that's weak. Own it. You're the guy running around out there covering guys. They made adjustments. We didn't adjust back. I mean, you know what that's called? That's called shifting the blame. I can't stomach blaming myself, and I'm not man enough to stand up and say it was me. So I'll just blame Mike Zimmer and say that he didn't adjust to Kyle Shanahan's offense. Maybe there's some truth in that, but the players play. And you're blaming a scheme, and now you're saying that you would have gotten it done if you had Parsons and Lawrence. You had Parsons and Lawrence the last 3 times, and you didn't win any of those. So that's ridiculous talk. More than anything, was it on Zimmer? I don't know. Did Shanahan make adjustments? He probably did. Did the Cowboys not adjust back? Probably not. But it just sounds bad, man. You never blame other people for your failures when your failure is a first-hand failure and they're helping you. You know, it's like I took the SAT class and I got a really low SAT score. I'm blaming my SAT coach. No, blame yourself. You're a fucking idiot. Don't blame the SAT coach. Take accountability for it. Your SAT coach is supposed to help you, but if you fucked up the SAT, that's on you. And guess what? Mike Zimmer is supposed to help you, but if you can't cover the 49ers backup wide receivers, that's on you. All right. So there you go. I mean, Niners own the Cowboys. That much is true, and the Cowboys are weak and making excuses. That's what I got out of that. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. This video was sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of The Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. We do it every week. Download the app below. Make sure you use the promo code NINERS to get your first deposit matched up to $200. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.